By the way, guys, it's fucking lime time.
Nice.
Yeah, no, you've heard of slime time?
What's up, lifers? It's Bricky, Sergeant Benny. We're back with our bi-weekly episode of Life Through Our Lens. Today, we're going to be talking about the Metaverse. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But before we get into that, real quick, we need to do just a quick 2-minute regroup with our bet between good old Sarge and good old Benny. Back from our Close to the Vest episode, we made a little Vikings-Bills bet.
So the bet was over-under for season win totals between the Vikings and the Bills. The Vikings were 8.5, so Sarge agreed to 9 wins to get the over. I stupidly agreed to an additional game because the Bills over-under was 11 games, and I agreed to 12 games to get a win. I am currently sitting at 7-4, so I need 5 wins to close out the season. Sarge is at 5-6, so he needs 4-2 to close out the season. I'm feeling decently confident, but I'm pretty confident at the same time I'm going to be running the beer mile.
Yeah, I think I like Sarge's odds a little bit better. So when this episode comes out, the Vikings will have just played the 0-10-1 Lions. And Benny will be coming off a Monday night showdown with the old Patriots, the dreaded rival of the Bills. So I think you could basically got to go. You got 2 Patriot games left and a game against Tom Brady and the Bucks. You got to go at least 2-1 in that. Otherwise, you're fucked.
We have to go 2-1. Monday night determines my future of the beer mile and really the Bills playoff picture. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I am going to start running because I also want to beat Sarge when we both have to run this thing. It's going to be a competitive race. So I want to also, if I do participate, I do want to win at the race.
Good luck, bud. I've been running for a long time, and I got long legs.
Short bursts, baby. Short bursts. We're going to put money on it, too.
Would you think that, hey, so the money that we put, we're going to donate to charity. Oh, know what? Brickner, what's that foundation?
The Underprivileged Podcasters Wedding Drinking Fund? Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, maybe not that, but something. We'll figure out something. But yeah, good luck, dude. I have ran a 5-minute mile before, so not saying that this is going to be, but
have you gassed 4 beers while doing it though?
No, I have not.
It's going to take pure grit and determination.
Yeah, and just between us, there's no way we're not puking. I've been thinking about it a little bit more. I know we discussed behind the scenes, and I can definitely run a mile, no problem. I do it almost every day, but my belly, don't know if I can handle it. But let's move on. Let's move on here. That's enough of that.
Yep. So I think it's a good bet though. Sarge needs to go 4-2 to win. Benny needs to go 5-1. So the listeners, if you want a little entertainment to close out the NFL season, there you go. But back to the topic at hand, the Metaverse. It's this new thing that is taking the world by storm. Nobody quite knows what it is, but we're going to spend the next 25 to 30 minutes kind of discussing it and what the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it.
All right. So we wanted to kind of give a definition of what the Metaverse is. And this is according to the Wall Street Journal. The Metaverse is loosely defined as an extensive online world where people interact via digital avatars. So what I'm kind of picturing is like a Ready Player One type of thing. If you haven't seen that movie, you dumb son, go see it. But if you have, that's kind of what I'm picturing it personally. But that's the Wall Street Journal's definition.
I think that's like big picture what it could turn into, because Ready Player One is a dynamite movie, also an older movie. And I was also reading, because I started really geeking out about this, because we've been talking about the Metaverse for a while, and it is kind of fascinating. So it's also rooted in like other sci-fi fiction novels that were written in the 1990s, like 1992, before we were even born. So a lot of this, even Ready Player One was a book apparently. And I don't know, some people are just crafty at what their prediction capabilities are. So I'm pretty excited to see what it's going to be. And Brickner, I know like the statistics of it and everything, but what are you thinking it's going to look like for the future?
Well, and yeah, so that brings up a good point. So I actually watched Ready Player One not too long ago. These boys both told me to check it out, and I've been just obsessing over the metaverse ever since. It's just such a cool concept. And so I wanted to bring up a thread of tweets that we found out on Twitter. The guy's Twitter handle is at Sean VP. That's SHAAN VP. He tweeted this out on October 29th. So if anybody wants to go check it out, feel free to do so. It's like a thread of about 12 tweets. And I think Sarge is going to actually put up a graphic and post it so you guys can read through it. But I just want one snippet here to kind of as a jumping off point. And so like the big thing with the metaverse is like the physical world versus the digital world. And so his kind of prediction here is that the metaverse is the point in time where the digital world is more important to us than the physical world. So Benny was talking about statistics. And so like before TVs were a thing, like 99% of our attention was on the physical world. And when TVs came out, that dropped down to 85% of our attention being on the physical world, 15 or so on the digital world. When computers came out, dropped down to 70. And now that we have phones, it's down to 50. And so this guy, he's projecting this out 10 to 20 years. And he predicts that 90% of our attention will be on the digital world and 10% will be on the physical world, which is freaky.
It is freaky, but if turns into what we're kind of picturing here, it makes total sense. Like you literally are going to be on the metaverse unless you're pooping, eating, and sleeping, right?
Getting it on.
Yeah. You probably do that in the metaverse, honestly.
Oh, now, yeah, you definitely can.
Virtually banging.
Well, anyone that's seen Ready Player One, they buy that haptic suit where the touch sensors go in all places. So you never know what's going to be out there in the future. Quick question based on those statistics. I know that you said 50%, 50-50 when phones came out, but what do you think you currently spend in the digital world right now? And I don't know if this tweet incorporated COVID or not, but I feel like my percentage in the digital world is higher than 50%, at least on a like work week basis.
Yeah, definitely. Cause yeah, I mean, when working from home, I mean, basically I am digital for 40 hours a week minimum. You know, you got Teams calls, Skype chats, emails, phone calls, like that's all I would consider digital.
Yeah.
And I just don't know, like, and that's what I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around is like, how does it get higher than that?
I don't know. That's a really, we're going to be, I don't know. We could talk about that for forever and ever. I really don't understand how we as a, like us three could possibly get into the 90 percentile. And I know we were talking about this earlier, but we're kind of a unique generation born in like the early 90s, late 80s. We're kind of growing up through all the technological advancements where we started with the internet. We remember like brick phones, flip phones. We remember dial up, AIM, the whole like process, like PSPs, you know, Nintendo 64 was our gaming system. That was like a viable thing when we were little children. Now we got Xbox 360. And if we're going to be walking our way into the metaverse, I don't even know what that's going to look like, but I can tell you that because I didn't have all this technology as a kid and really even like social media until I was like really in college, I just can't picture myself flipping into that 90 percentile. Like even now I'm trying to like run away outside of like TV sometimes in sports games, but
all right,
you know,
two quick things. One, the PSP was way ahead of its time, by the way. But anyways, next question. Question for both of you. What would you say is your percentage of digital versus real world?
In the
Physical
future?
No. Like right now.
Specifically, I would say on like work week basis, I mean, I'm at my computer at least 8 to 10 hours a day doing this stuff with you guys. I mean, if listening to music counts, then like almost all day, just not like my reality is like what I'm living through.
I'm going music does not count.
Okay. Then I'd probably say it's closer to like 60%.
I'd say 50 for me.
You think you're 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely I'm less than 50 for sure. I mean, if you're wrapping in work with it, I'm not at my computer. I guess I'm on my phone for like a calculator, but does that really count? I don't think so. Listen to Spotify, listen to Life Through a Lens, of course, but no, it's going to get nuts if this thing really takes off, which I think it will. I mean, it's backed by, I don't know, Facebook, Marketplace, not Marketplace, sorry, Microsoft.
Yeah, it's every big company is starting to pop up. Like Benny sent us something. Atari has a world. Nike teamed up with someone to make a world. I mean, if you think about it, I don't play Fortnite at all, but they've had online like digital concerts and gatherings already. So I feel like we're almost like one foot's in the door for sure already.
So
100%.
Yeah. So speaking of like all the different companies that are coming with the metaverse, the metaverse is not going to be like, you're going to Facebook's metaverse. Oh, you're going to Nike's metaverse. You're going to be in just one world. They're actually all working together, which is nuts. So they all want this to happen.
Is that actually confirmed?
Yes.
That they're all working together?
Yes.
They'll have to. It'll all have to be on like a universal platform.
Yep. And
you'll just be able to, you're literally going to be able to explore life virtually the same way that you explore life in the physical world right now.
Exactly, Benny. But you can teleport to different experiences, which is where they're going to come and work together. So you can go to the Nike world, you can go to Facebook, farmland, whatever, but you can just teleport. You know how we always say, oh man, I wish I could teleport. Now you can in the metaverse.
Well, and I saw something really cool as well. There was a digital land plot that sold for $2.4 million. And they had said that they're going to use it as a fashion district. So your avatar can go to this place and like buy clothes and do all this stuff. And I was talking to these two when we were doing our prep for the show. And I was like, this just seems so stupid to me. Why would you go into a game to go shopping in a mall? And then Sarge, you remember what you said?
Yeah. So I'm a big 2K basketball guy, and we're already doing that. So if you play 2K at all, you have VC, virtual currency, that you can actually pay money to. And I'll hand up, I've thrown, $20-$40 to get my guy better, but you buy clothes with this virtual currency. So they already been prepping you, and you've been able to do this since like 2013, by the way, too. It's wild.
We've been being groomed for a long time, even education, the whole way that everything's going. And I don't know, think about how much more high tech everything is, even podcasting, even though with the era we're in right now, we're creating entertainment, or at least trying to be funny and entertaining. Little sidebar there. Either way. So I was trying to think about something really off the cuff. We didn't discuss this, but I wanted to throw this out there for you because I was thinking what new jobs are going to be created in this. And when you just said the shopping mall, like, are there going to be virtual clothing designers? Is that going to be like a hot job?
Absolutely.
You're just going to be sitting at home, like making virtual clothing for people, and you're going to be like on the red carpet virtually.
All right. No, think about it, dude. What's the difference?
I don't know. I just can't see
none.
that.
There is zero difference in my eyes. What do you do it? How do you design something in CAD, computer aided design?
Yeah.
Same thing.
You better learn CAD.
Go ahead and teach yourself. You usually have to get a degree for that, but I tried to learn. It's hard.
That is a very interesting point, though, Benny. That's why this whole episode is basically just an exercise. Like, what is the future going to look like? Nobody knows. Because like you had said, Benny, when the internet came up, right when the internet came out, how could you have predicted that Uber was going to be a thing? Right? Like there's just absolutely no way for you to know that. Like, oh, cool, I can go look at ebombsworld.com. 20 years later, I press a button, I get dropped off wherever I freaking want. It's nuts.
You can get booze delivered to you.
Yeah, exactly.
You could play like you can go to a casino on your phone now. It's literally all the pleasures, the guilty pleasures, are delivered to your mobile device. And if it's a like augmented or virtual reality type deal, and you can go into that world. And I know if anyone hasn't seen Ready Player One, do yourself a favor and watch it, because all the light bulbs will go off about what we're talking about. It's gonna be a freaking ridiculous experience.
And then
Yes.
I hate to bring up COVID, but COVID is only accelerating this. And guys, I just had like a crazy, like we're making up a conspiracy rumor right now. Like, okay, this is just popped in my head. What if COVID was a conspiracy to accelerate the metaverse, like us going into the metaverse? Because everyone's realizing, oh, I don't have to work anymore. I don't have to go to work. I can just do it at home, blah, blah, blah. And just like, people are going out less and less. Oh my God.
If that is true, then that will be a pretty hell of a documentary someday.
Oh my God.
That we'll see in our virtual.
It's completely
on our
false.
deathbed.
Yeah, it's completely false. COVID's real as shit. But
my metaverse conspiracy theory is that Mark Zuckerberg is really shy and doesn't like any public attention. The only clothes that dude wears is a hoodie and jeans. And since everybody's going to be obsessed with their virtual avatars, everyone's going to be wearing hoodie and jeans everywhere. So everyone's going to blend in with Zuckerberg, and he is not ever going to be noticed in the real world again.
Or he's a robot.
Or that too. It's possible. He might be a robot. So.
But no, so Sarge, you had said like COVID has been a springboard, right? For this, it's definitely made people take a step back and probably increased the percentage of people that are on the digital world, or at least the amount of time they're spending each day on it. And one thing that I've noticed since we've all been allowed to go back out, go to sporting events, attendance is way freaking down.
Massively.
Way down. So
yeah, what were you saying about hockey? Hockey specifically was like getting crushed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's way down, like across the board. I think there's 2 teams that are about where they were before COVID hit, and no one really knows why. I mean, yes, some people are, don't want to go out yet. That's completely fine. But I just wanted, like, what if this trend continues? Like, what if you can just put on your goggles or your virtual reality goggles and sit front row at a game? You can look any direction and just like be at the game.
I mean, that's kind of what happened in COVID too, especially for the NBA was like really, really good at that. And even when they had that bubble, you could see the virtual people. And some people had avatars. Some people decided to be on cameras themselves, but then they were all courtside, or they could sit anywhere they wanted in the arena. So like, are we going to have virtual world season tickets? Is that like a possibility? People are going to be, I'm a season ticket holder in the VR, and that's how we view sports moving forward. Does that even make sense?
I can see it happening.
I can, but you're a loser if you're doing that, in my opinion. Are you kidding me? Benny, imagine going to a Bills game, but not being at the Bills game. Are you kidding me? How are you supposed to pregame? How are you supposed to break a table?
I agree. I mean, I see for us, I don't think it's going to really impact us. I think we're going to have to like join it more than we want to, because that's what everybody chooses to do. But right now, like, I'd rather go to a Bills game. With that being said, the NFL and the NBA and pretty much every other major sports organization out there has made it very convenient to watch the game at home. So if you have buddies coming over, it's a lot cheaper because ticket prices are insane right now. And B, you don't have to wait in line to go to the bathroom, because let's be real, that's the biggest pain in the ass at an NFL game.
Well, and I want to go back to like the projection to 20 years out, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And like Sarge, you had said you were a big NBA 2K guy. What if in 20 years there is, guys who have been like kids who have been playing NBA their whole life, NBA 2K, and they're like quote unquote professional players. There's a draft, like this whole thing. So you like actually have to go to the game virtually. to
Oh,
watch.
so, oh my God. Yeah.
So
I mean,
we would
because
be watching like an
It's all
e-gamer.
yes.
Okay.
which one of you guys brought up that esports is more popular than real sports right now?
Brickner said that like it's more popular than like T-ball. Kids aren't signing up for like Little League anymore, which is crazy. Kids are just playing Call of Duty and Fortnite and other assortments of games. I mean, even right now, think about this. I mean, I've definitely watched highlights. Like Twitch is crazy, right? When I was like super duper into Call of Duty because I was a little bored during COVID, not gonna lie. I watched streamers before, and now I still have friends my age who just watch streamers. They don't even play video games. They just watch other people play video games, which is mind blowing to me. But then take it down to like kids. So some of my colleagues, they have kids that are like, late middle school, early high school, and they choose to watch streamers over like sports or play activities, which is extremely alarming to me that that's the way people are moving.
Yeah. Shout out to my coworker, Ryan. Literally, he watches someone on Twitch every single day or like listens to them playing.
But it's really not like, if you think about it, it's really not that weird because
No?
I play Call of Duty, right? Or, I'm a casual gamer. I'm not good, admittedly. I'm not good at it. And I also like used to play hockey and I love watching hockey. I don't play hockey anymore, but I love watching people play. I watch the NHL almost every day. So it's kind of the same. Like the Twitch guys are like the professionals. So you're watching someone play the thing that you like, but is just really good at it.
Yeah. I guess I need to start playing video games better or just find a weird, like a really one-off game to be super good at. Cause it's not just like the big games. There are people that stream like weird stuff I've never heard of before. And they're now making lots and lots of money. They have everything they could ever ask for because they're very good at one random video game. Crazy stuff, honestly.
It's a legitimate career path now.
Dude, what if that's a new like college degree? Like, well, you wouldn't go to college for, but what if
You get
there's
a scholarship.
some sort of program that you're like, yeah, like I'm on the esports team, bro.
There
That
are
already-
colleges that
yeah.
have esports teams.
Seriously?
Yes.
Get out of here. You guys are
No,
Swear to
dude.
God, man.
that. All right. I am now. I feel like an old person right now. I feel really out of date, out of touch right now. I can't believe you got to be shitting me. There's actually people that get scholarship money to go to universities because
Yes.
they play video games at a high caliber.
Yes.
You got it.
I don't know how I feel about that. That kind of aggravates me.
You guys, if you think about it, you guys, I'm not sure which one of you guys mentioned, but you know how we kind of started with the technology and stuff. We kind of fucked up not getting super good at video games because we had to jump on everyone. You know what I mean? So we could have been making bank if we just stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the time it was, quote unquote, a waste of time. You're melting your brain. And how would you ever know that you could make money playing video games? If I was 8 years old and I got my first ever PlayStation and my dad was like, you can be a millionaire if you get good at this, I would have played until I wouldn't have slept. I would have only played PlayStation.
That would be the biggest like stick it in your parents' face ever for our generation, honestly, because we all heard the same thing. You're rotting your brain, just a waste of time. Stop doing this. Go get out and play outside. Now there's like literally 12-year-olds who are millionaires because they're good at Fortnite, which is crazy to me. And their parents are probably pumped.
Yeah, no, and that kind of brings us into our next point here. How do you think human interaction is going to change? Like projecting it out into that 10 to 20 year range.
I can definitely see from like, just talking about the educational world is like, I can't believe there's actually people that have scholarship money to go play video games in college. And just think about that. Are they out there communicating? Are they out there, hopefully not binge drinking, but maybe they're safer for it. They're just living in their gamer world. I don't know. I think at this point, people are already getting very awkward. I have lots of friends, people that are younger, older than me, that don't like to talk on the phone anymore, let alone see each other in person, right? You have to send a text message because there's a blanket of security. I don't need to answer right now. Oh my God. Oh my, like, people panic. So we're the last cusp of this. What about kids that are like 10? And then in the future, if they just grow up in this, it's going to be like crippling to do a presentation, you know?
Yeah, and I actually heard that because the schooling thing, right? The 10-year-olds, all them. Like the big part of going to elementary school is just like learning rules, learning to follow directions, talking to people, all that type of stuff. And I actually saw that during COVID, like the illiteracy percentages are way up because people aren't in school. So they're just it's delaying learning, which is interesting.
Honestly, that's kind of crazy and also extremely interesting because how we judge people's ability moving forward is going to be drastically changed. It's like Gary Vee says all the time. It's like education is going to be upheaved because getting good grades and being able to read are not going to be important. It's just like, it's not. You can listen to audiobooks now. Eventually, who knows what it's going to look like. Obviously, it's important to read and be educated, but at the same time, do you need that to be successful? Probably not, right? You're going to have a freaking translator on your phone. We already do.
You 100% need to be able to read.
Do you?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
But the big one that I've heard is like cursive, right? We
Oh, yeah.
all learned cursive growing up. You could legitimately never write something down with a pen or paper for the rest of your life and be fine, right?
Sorry, this just triggered it. I'll never forget this. 9th grade, Miss Martin's class. She had everyone write cursive except for me because I have the worst handwriting in the fucking world. It's
You do.
god awful.
It's
is so
awful.
bad. It is so bad. She just let me just write because she couldn't read it at all. But anyway, sorry.
Oh, that's fine, dude. Dr. Sarge, baby. You were born to be a doctor. That's scribble. Doctors have an incredible knack to just read scribbles and they're like, yep, that's just like 14 letter crazy pharmaceutical word. And like, they pick it up. No problem. Maybe that's your miscalling. So, but
I don't know
cursive's
about
dead.
that.
Yeah.
But
Virtual
hey,
doctor for Sarge.
let's back it up a little bit back to the human interaction. And like
Yeah.
Benny, you were saying how people are going to freak out when they have to, meet people in person. But what if, and this is just a complete what if it helps? Like what if you can talk to people like with your avatar and you're hanging out with people on there, like Ready Player One. We brought it up 100 times here. They had, it was H, and what's the main character? Is it Z?
H and
J or something. But I mean, they were friends and they had never met in real life.
Right. I think it definitely could help in some capacity. I think if anything, it's going to make people who may be less extroverted more comfortable communicating or making friends. And it's going to bring a lot of different connections in. If anything, it's just like people from all over the world are going to find similar people. Whereas like in the world today or like, 20 years ago, extroverted people that were outgoing and like risky in a sense, vulnerable, were a little bit more predominant. If you were shy and hesitant, you might not have been as successful socially or just like in the world. And now that might not matter. And if that blanket of security is enough for somebody to move the needle, who knows? But I struggle to see that we're just going to live in this virtual world and that it's going to be like good for human interaction. I think it's going to be a total soul sucker overall.
Like, what's like your living situation going to look like now? Because if you're always in the metaverse, like what do you need? A bedroom? Like obviously you need a little bit of a kitchen, but studio apartments are going to be flying off the shelves. You know what I mean? Or
They already are.
That's not the right word.
Yeah, it is. But yeah.
So I think it could go one of two ways, right? If anything, I feel like I would just live out in the sticks. As long as I had good Wi-Fi, I would just live out in the middle of nowhere, have my basic needs met, and then I'd be in the VR world. Or you could live in the city, but like, why would you pay high rent if you're just going to be like stuck in your glasses?
I don't know. And that could all change too, right? Like in Minneapolis and Minnesota, it's cheaper to live in Minneapolis than it is the suburbs. Like it's starting to flip already.
Yeah.
So who knows, man? It's hard to. I truly don't think that like the people our age, the three of us, it's just gonna be tougher to be immersed in this, right? Would if you're born and raised in it, I can absolutely see how you would be in it, like that's your life.
I think it's going to be really weird, and human interaction again is going to be very different than what we're used to. It scares me to have kids. I think that's a really scary thing for the future, like future generations, because are we going to be able to relate to everything that they're doing? How's work going to change? How's like schooling going to change? Is like our entire script of like knowledge and advice going to be like obsolete because they're going to be in a different world? I don't know. It's just there's so many questions out there. I almost feel like we're doing like a time capsule. We're gonna listen to this in 20 years and be like, we were way off. Samsonite, baby. Samsonite.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're probably so far off, but you never know. It's kind of like a dreamer mentality right now.
Absolutely.
Sarge, what are you pondering over there? Just let it rip, kid.
Well, you mentioned about like the, people growing or kids growing up right now. It's kind of, sorry, I'm trying to collect my thoughts here. I feel like, when you're raising a kid, you don't want to expose them to all this dirt, certain stuff, right? You don't want your 5-year-old saying fuck, right? When are people going to be introduced into the metaverse? You know how kids are getting cell phones at like 8 now? Could you imagine that when we were growing up? Like when are they like parenting? So let's say you're obsessed with the metaverse, right? Like you just love the metaverse, you're in the metaverse and you have a kid. You get that taken away. Like, are you just already just going to introduce your kid to the metaverse right away? I don't know. That's what I'm kind of thinking about right now.
I feel like you're going to have to. It's the only viable option. I feel like school is going to be strictly like through that. I mean, you might be in person, but I feel like education is going to be phenomenal for everybody who's a visual learner. And they're going to have like, they might be in person, but they're going to be like in a cube with their freaking headset on.
Yeah. And I was going to say that exact same thing, Benny. It's all going to depend on the educational stuff, right? Because you got little kids on iPads playing games and learning at the same time.
Oh, dude, I got it, Sarge. It's kind of like the drinking age is 21. So like, how do they, I don't know, like have rules and regulations for kids that shouldn't be doing age appropriate things? They're younger. There's gonna be like parental locks on kids like headsets and shit, and it's gonna be like,
there it is.
You can't go to the casino until you're 21 or like show your virtual ID. There's gonna be we're gonna be virtual fake IDs in the future, baby. It's gonna be mental.
I love it. All right, so this is our time's coming up here. We're trying to keep these episodes close to 30 minutes as we can. So is our parting shot here. After we've kind of discussed this, what do you guys think? Is this going to be a good thing or a bad thing?
I personally think it's going to be a net bad thing for like the human species. But I think for like technologically, like education and all that, I think it will be a good thing, but net negative, because I think human interaction is going to suffer. And I struggle to see a world, especially right now, that we're going to be able to just not have face-to-face conversations and like friendships and things like that.
So for capitalism, I think it's going to be incredible. And I think that every smart company is going to have a plan for the metaverse. Like even like Polaris is going to be able to design a virtual snowmobile, right? The NFL is going to have this. So all these companies that are thinking about the future are all going to have something like this. But I kind of more on it's going to be a good thing. Like people are going to be smart as fuck. I feel like you guys mentioned, like the education thing. Everything's going to be so accessible. People are going to know so much, and people are going to be more connected. Where Bricky, I think you mentioned earlier that you're going to find like-minded people, which is going to, I think, would bring more people together. But at the same time, it could be a bad thing if they have bad views. But I don't know. I think it's going to be sweet, honestly.
So just to confirm, you're shading in the positive side.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Brickner?
I'm split right down the middle, man. I don't know if it's gonna be good or bad. I just know it's gonna be different, like very different, right? And whenever there's change, you got people who champion the change, people who resist the change, people who just don't really care and just go with it, right? So I don't know. It could go either way, to be honest.
All righty, let's wrap this up. Let us know, guys, what you guys think about the metaverse as far as if you think it's a good thing or bad thing. Once again, thank you all for listening. Spread the word, you freaking turds. But as a parting little message here, we want to hear from you guys. So please give us a call at 651-419-0885. And you can actually send text messages. Just found that out. Check out our website at lifethroughourlens.com. Shoot us an email at lifethroughourlens00@gmail. Sorry, I did the at first, but anyways, take her easy, guys.
And one more thing, if you like this, if you like what you're listening to, please share this with your friends. Please share this with anybody that you like. Let us help you. Help us help you. Spread the word, as Sarge said so perfectly, you freaking turds.